Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Zach Cox, and today what I got for you is actually the top 10 worst to best Grand Theft Auto protagonists. And if you guys missed out the other day on the channel, we actually covered the top 15 worst to best GTA games. You can find that link down below in the description. Check that one out. And if you guys want to see more like this on the channel, be sure to let me know down below alongside your list of the worst to best GTA protagonists. And if you guys could, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Let's try to get 4,000 likes on this video. But that said, here we are with the top 10 worst to best GTA protagonists. Starting things off, we have Toni Cipriani appearing as both a protagonist and a mission boss in the GTA series. He is the playable protagonist of Liberty City Stories, as well as a mission boss in Grand Theft Auto 3. And essentially, he's just a talking version of Claude, in my opinion. He's a yes man for Salvatore Leone, basically meaning that Salvatore tells him what to do, and he does it without any question. He just does what he says. He's his bitch, basically. And a lot of people would say that he kind of kisses ass to work his way up throughout the criminal underworld. And if you're still not too familiar with this character, you might know him as that dude who was always arguing with his mom throughout both Liberty City Stories and GTA 3. And what's cool is that between these two games, his appearance has changed drastically. In Liberty City Stories, which takes place in 1998, he's a skinnier, more fit-looking kind of guy, opposed to GTA 3, which takes place just 3 years later, where he is put on a lot of weight, very noticeable amount of weight. Nonetheless, though, Toni Cipriani actually transitions from a kind of just a cleanup guy, this yes man, to ultimately the undisputed dawn of Liberty City after Salvatore Leone's death. And that's, of course, if his son Joey Leone doesn't assume this position. But nonetheless, Toni Cipriani isn't necessarily a horrible character, but out of every other character in this list, he definitely lacks the most. Next up, we have Johnny Klevitz, the protagonist of The Lost and Damned. And in this game, he was a wonderful lead role. He appeared as a strong leader type character, and Johnny wasn't someone that wasn't motivated solely by money. He was a loyal man, and that's one of the greatest characteristics that he has. He did everything for the most part to help out his biker brothers in the Lost MC. He was definitely a dedicated member. However, between the 5-year gap between GTA 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5, Johnny for the most part lost every bit of his momentum and every single one of his powerful traits that he possessed after letting his meth addiction just take over and control his life, which inevitably turns him into a very sorry character towards the end. And as a result, I think you guys know what happens next. It leads to his ultimate demise, resulting in Johnny just turning into this just very tragic character and coming to a very tragic end. Well, if you guys don't have them pitchforks and torches ready yet, you might want to get them ready for this next character, because I have Franklin Clinton from GTA 5. And yep, you heard me right, I actually have him listed high on my list as one of the worst characters in the GTA series. Remember, this is just my opinion, but basically everything's kind of given to Franklin on a silver platter. It just all falls into place, from being a petty repo man for Simeon to meeting Michael by chance in pure luck and becoming a top dog and rolling with the big dogs in these heists and making millions of dollars and being set for life. I definitely feel that Franklin lacks a lot as a character, and he's one of those characters that's not really relatable at all. And for the most part, Franklin might have been a better character if he was developed more by Rockstar Games. And I know that's impossible, because Rockstar didn't just focus on one protagonist in GTA 5. We've got two other ones. We've got this trio of guys, and we can't just put the focus on one character and leave out the rest and get to know their backstory and whatnot. So that's where I feel Franklin lacks, because we just kind of see this young, ambitious man looking to get out of the ghetto and avoid the game banging lifestyle, because he knows it's not going to get him anywhere. Franklin's a very smart guy, and he does have a purpose in the story, but personally, I just find him very uninteresting. Moving along, we have Claude, the silent killer from Grand Theft Auto 3. And we really can't hate on this guy too much, because he is one of the pioneers to the modern day open world games that we know and love so much right here and right now. But Claude is literally just an empty shell who lacked a lot of character development. And I'm about to go contradictory mode and become a super hypocrite right here, because I'm going to say that it's really easy to compare these old school games, for example GTA 3 and Claude, to today's standards that we have in 2017 of ultra realistic, super amazing graphical games. That's really easy to do, but what we got to do is look at it from the standpoint of 2001, where 3D era games were just now making their mark on the scene. Before that, we just had the 2D top-down games and just these 8-bit kind of games, and this was new at the time. But when we think of it today and think back, it's really easy to say these games sucked because they don't have the graphics that we have today. But remember, guys, that at one point, GTA 3, San Andreas, even Super Mario on the Nintendo 64, these games right here were considered the best of the best with the best graphics. And looking back now, yeah, that's funny to laugh about, but back then, they were definitely top tier. But I do want to say, though, Claude was a true killer, and he was also somewhat creepy in a weird, creepy kind of way. Continuing on with Victor Vance, the protagonist of GTA Vice City Stories, this dude was a well-written character who appeared in just an iffy kind of game. Perhaps there would have been so much more to him had he been developed for a console game. If you guys didn't know, Vice City Stories was made and released on the PSP and then later ported over to the PlayStation 2. It was an exclusive. And he has a military background, which is pretty cool. It provides definitely a respectable aura around him. And also, he's just a very hardworking guy. A little backstory on Vic is that he joined the military to help his brother out, who was really sick, and to get money for this, so that's why he did this. So definitely a respectable guy. He's also very confused and a hypocrite at the same time, because one moment he wants nothing to do with these gangs and drugs and this kind of lifestyle, and then the next minute he's talking about and essentially building his own drug empire, which ultimately leads to his demise. Now we have Michael DeSanta, the epitome of an average American, with his family problems, and that's kind of sad that that's such an average thing nowadays, as well as he is also an average wealthy American. Whereas Franklin gets too serious and Trevor gets too silly, Michael is sort of an in-the-middle kind of character, making him definitely relatable. Relatable than the other two, in my opinion. Unless you relate more to Trevor, which I hope you don't, because that means you're crazy, and please stay away from me. But nonetheless, Michael wants to make amends with his family, but he continues to make mistakes. He's just an honest man who is aware of his scumbaggery, and he's trying to find satisfaction and a new way to approach life, and he's ultimately given a second chance at everything when he gets back into the game and starts pulling off heists again. Ow, man, which one of y'all poked me with your pitchfork for not putting CJ in the #1 spot? That kind of hurt. Anyways, CJ is a stereotypical yet amazing character. Don't get me wrong, definitely an amazing guy. And out of every GTA protagonist that we've ever gotten to know and play as, CJ definitely possesses the most variety of emotions. He's basically a Swiss Army knife. It's one of those things that's like a pocket knife that has a screwdriver, the blades, little corkscrew thing on it, just all of that stuff into one little thing that you can fit in your pocket. That's what CJ is, except you can't really fit him into your pocket. And he's basically happy, angry, funny, loyal, determined, calm, moral, and just about everything else summed up into one character. And he's a hood rat with very little relatable features. At least to me, I can't relate to him. I'm not a hood rat, and I never returned home after 5 years on the East Coast. Bad joke, I know, I'm filled with them today. And CJ lacks any real ambitions beyond wanting to be rich, plain and simple. But his loyalty ensues because even with the millions of dollars that he's acquired, he continues to roll around with these gangbangers and these guys that he's known his whole life. He hasn't really turned his back on anybody, so that's definitely one of the coolest features and traits about CJ. And now we have Tommy Vercetti, one of the most badass GTA characters of all time. And yeah, he does get a lot of hate from some people saying that, oh, he's just a knockoff of Tony Montana, he's an in-game clone, nothing special about him. Well, I think he's a really cool character, and he was the first GTA protagonist to ever use business ventures to profit outside of murdering for money, basically. And Tommy doesn't really care about anything or anyone else aside from making it to the top of Vice City's criminal underworld. From a man on a mission of revenge and trying to get back at Sonny Forelli for setting him up, to a man who starts doing his own thing, Tommy is definitely one of the greats, without a doubt. No ifs, ands, or buts. With all those characters out the way, that actually brings us to the final three. And third up, we have Trevor Phillips. And in my opinion, he was an incredibly well-written character who is hilariously psychotic and strangely likable at the same time. And also, if you pay attention to the in-game dialogue, he's very empathetic, socially aware, and even principled in some regards. I find that hard to believe. And mostly when it comes to people that he loves, that's when he's definitely an empathetic, sympathetic, and caring, loving guy. And we see this side of him when it comes to Michael. After finding out he's alive, we see that he got his name tattooed on his arm. We also see in the mission where Trevor hallucinates and sees his mother, he drops down to his knees and cries like a baby, or even when he kidnaps Martin Madrazo's wife and she gets Stockholm Syndrome. He hits the nail on the head in every single aspect and definitely steals the spotlight in GTA 5 with his unpredictable and exciting traits. Now in the number 2 spot we have Luis Ow, someone poked me again with that damn pitchfork. And like I was saying, we have Luis Lopez from The Ballad of Gay Tony, and he's one of the more relatable and decent characters out of the bunch. And my first impression of Luis is that he was an arrogant prick, and that's what he comes off as. But that actually changed over time as I saw how much crap he took from everyone, even his own mother. Everyone left their dirty work to Luis Lopez. They left it all up to him and expected him to take care of it. When it didn't go right, it was still his fault. And while some of you guys may consider him to be boring and uninteresting, I find Luis to be a very cool guy, and out of every other GTA protagonist, I think that he could definitely pass as a real person. And for the number 1 spot, we don't even need a drum roll because we have Nico Bellic from Grand Theft Auto 4, the most memorable and well-written character in the GTA series, period. I can't really add any details about Nico that hasn't actually been mentioned already in the game. His story was a tragedy. He's a hollow character that believes exacting revenge will fill that empty void inside of him, only to find out that it doesn't work. And he's overall just a very depressing character whose story is told with sheer perfection. And had it not been for his grim circumstances, Nico might be someone that I want to be around. And like I said about him being a sad character, it's also sad that his character's voice actor is on bad terms with Rockstar Games, meaning that Nico doesn't have a voice anymore, hindering him from appearing in future Grand Theft Auto games. And with all that said, that actually sums up my list of the worst to best Grand Theft Auto protagonists. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. We're going for over 4,000 likes on this video. Let's make it happen. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section, alongside your list of the worst to best GTA protagonists. Very eager to see what you guys have to say. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that and turn on notifications to never miss out on another daily video game upload. But with that said and out of the way, I believe that's just about it. You guys all take it easy. Have a safe one. My name is Zach Cox, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.